Do you know what is stress and what is distress? Everything in life is a stress. And without stress, you will die, wither away and die within 1 week. There's the African ritual called the voodoo. That is, if a thief or a murderer or a rapist is found, there is no Supreme Court there. There used to be no Supreme Court in the Aboriginal race. He was taken to the chief, and there will be an advocate who will say, this man did this. If the chief feels it is right, he will take a bone, dead man's bone, and show it at the person like that. That is called voodoo, V-O-O-D-O-O. And we had done some work on the hearts of these people. Very interesting. After the voodoo, the man is not supposed to be talked to by anybody in the society, in that village. But he will get good food, and has got a nice outhouse outside the village, where even his wife and children are supposed to go and talk to him. Nobody talks to him, right? But he is fed very well. Actually, probably much more nutritious food than what he would have had in life in the house. None of these people last more than 1 week. They're dead. The belief, the superstitious belief was that showing the bone is the bad signal, and he died. But the fact is, these people's heart becomes very vulnerable for fibrillation. So we replicated that in pigs. What you used to do is, you put a pig in a cage, and it's very hungry, give it nice appetizing food, and the pig comes running. And then as it comes running near the thing, it gets a sharp electric current there, very painful. So it goes back. Again hungry, comes in. Second time, third time, nth time. The pig gets so frustrated, pig says, I don't want food. It goes back to the cage, lies down. It is frustrated and depressed. At this stage, we can fibrillate and kill the pig with 1 joule current, 1 joule current. A normal pig requires 100 joules current. And 1 joule current you then generate by even lifting your hand like that, you generate 1 joule current. So these people die because of fibrillating heart. And these hearts, when you look at them, they're absolutely normal. It's called electric death. See how the things are? Where is this all from? What is stress? Stress is a part of life. Getting married is as stressful as getting divorced. I'm not joking. It's absolutely right. But divorce is distress. Marriage is eustress. The difference is, stress you can bend in a different way. If you bend under stress, it becomes, young lady, distress. Good, this girl is writing, very good girl. But if you enjoy that, marriage, that was, of course, the definition was given by Samuel Johnson's second marriage. Triumph of hope over experience. So marriage is eustress, but divorce is distress. So now the Western youth neither want eustress nor want distress, so they cohabit and never get married. Because for them, for economic reasons, marriage is very expensive, divorce is more expensive. So why have that? After all, you want to cohabit, just live in relationships. And the government has now given legal sanction for the children born out of that also. That's nothing problem. And the inheritance, etc., there are some laws. I'm not very sure. Our professor of economics will tell you about that later. Now what I'm saying is, don't you ever think that if I want a stress-free life, I should never have any stress. You will never grow. You must have stress. That's why if you don't work, if you say, I don't just want rest, I'm just not doing anything. If you don't do anything, you will be surprised. Within 24 hours, a lot of changes occur in your body which are detrimental to your health. Now, Vijay was asking me, are you tired? And I was seeing patients from morning 8:30. And then we came and some other department and there was something. But changing this, time management is very simple. Don't do the same thing for a long time. You get distressed. Supposing she had asked me to see 2 more patients, I would have run away. But she said, talk to the students. Oh, it's nice fun, I've been doing that for donkey's years. You probably don't know. I started teaching in 1962. And I've been teaching ever since and teach every day, even today, all over the world. I've taught thousands of students, but I enjoy that. You know, when I meet all of you and see your faces, glisten, nice faces, I feel so happy. If I can make one of your mind get tickled, I tell you, the happiness I get is something phenomenal. Because what happens normally is, our educational system is so perverted, I tell you. Alexis Carrel so beautifully wrote, every newborn child is a genius, only to be converted into an idiot in school. I am telling you the truth. Because every child, on the day it is made in the mother's womb, which is called a zygote, one cell. Human body is not like a motor mechanic, one heart with fixed and in the, like Ford company's thing, and then you become a body. No, you are one cell. That one cell divides, and today you are a colony of 120 trillion human beings. How do we be happy? Keep all these 120 trillion fellows happy. If you did that, the 120 trillion people in your colony will interact with the 120 trillion people in his colony or his colony. Now they love one another. You must see that. There's a biophoton camera now. If you take a picture, you see how these cells are so happy jumping about. They are in sync with one another. Disease means some part of the body, they are not happy. It's all energy. And my energy flows into you. My leptococcus jump into you, your leptococcus jump into me. And we love each other. We are all related. Let me tell you, you are all very close relatives of mine. Because all our consciousness comes from the same universal consciousness. And the individual consciousness is what comes to the zygote on the day you are made in your mother's womb. And that brings you all the wisdom in this world, posteriori and priori. So education is not teaching something somebody doesn't know. That's what we think. You know, there's an old saying, when we were young, we would say, a good teacher teaches. A better teacher demonstrates. A still better teacher explains. But the greatest teacher inspires. So what is education? Educe, E-D-U-C-E, in Latin means deliver. So I always call all teachers as midwives. What does the midwife do? Stands by the side of the pregnant mother in pain, coaxing her, cajoling her, empathizing with her, sympathizing with her. But who delivers at the end? Who? The mother. But in the class, who delivers? The teacher. That is the problem. You have to stand by the side of a student in pain, in suffering, in difficulties, coaxing him or her, cajoling him or her, empathizing with her, sympathizing with her, provoking her, prachodayat. And then the student will deliver. That is called education, deliver. That is why Swami Vivekananda read many years ago said, education is the manifestation of the perfection which is already in man. There's a beautiful way of saying that in Sanskrit. Dagdam, punarapi, punaha, kanchanam, kantavarnam. You want gold to be shining? You have to heat it and beat it. Heat it and beat it again. Heat it and beat it. Gold becomes kantavarnam. So beautiful, so shiny. So that is exactly what is education. But unfortunately, what happens in the Indian education system is a brilliant child which knows everything in this universe when it is born. And you must see, I have written an article the other day. I was seeing some child in a bus, in the airport bus. Many of must have this experience. You get into the airport bus, then the bus waits for the VIP. VIP, very insignificant people, they come last. Oh, you didn't know that? It is simple law. These people come last, do you know why? They want to be important. Nan yaar. So they come last and everybody watches them. And anyway, this VIP was delaying it. And there I was with this kid, little kid. So excited it was. Daddy, look at that. It was a 4-year-old kid. Look at that big plane, Daddy. Are we going in that? There was a big plane parked next in the bay. Then the father was so feeling awkward. The whole bus is making so much of noise and jumping about the place. Bus had some place. Then Daddy said, hey, keep quiet. And they had another kid to look after, and that was 2-year-old kid, so it had to be fed. So they were concentrating on that kid. This fellow will again jump. See, Daddy, that other big plane is moving. It's moving like a bus. Are we going in that? I don't want to go in that. I want to go in the plane which is flying. Just see the curiosity. Then little later, it's such an imprint on my brain. A little later, that little bombardier of the spice jet was coming out. Hey, that baby of the plane. I want to go in that baby, daddy. I want to go in that baby. You see that? Now the child starts going to school, then child will stop doing all this. Then if you ask the child, no, I have to mug up, I have to homework. 2 plus 2 is 4. Is 2 plus 2 is 4? Eh? You do that. And the child is completely become an idiot after that. That is what Alexis Carrel so beautifully wrote. Alexis Carrel is not an idiot. Alexis Carrel is a Nobel laureate. He is a surgeon, and he is the one who taught all of surgeons how to stitch vessels. Because olden days we used to stitch vessels and it would collapse. He made a triangular mathematical model and a different kind of stitches so that the vessel remains over. This fellow gets a Nobel Prize. He wrote a book called Man the Unknown. But don't read that book. Because he's a Jew. At the end, last 2 chapters are horrible. He says all mental patients are an economic drain on the society. So put them in gas chamber. Don't have mental hospitals. He was right in one way. Mind is not in the brain, but psychiatrists give chemicals to the brain. So these chemicals make the patient eventually Alzheimer's, demented. Because you can't reach the mind with the drug. And the professor of psychiatry in Washington University who wrote a book on this lost her job. Because she was against the industry. Finished. Her name is Elizabeth Grace Jackson. Please read their book. Dementia, a drug-induced crime on mankind by doctors. Thick book. Lost her job, but the book is getting her millions of dollars. She's going around the world selling that and lecturing. Oh, you want to write down? Dementia, a drug-induced crime on mankind. Grace Elizabeth Jackson.